Hey, Hare Krishna, everyone. Danvat Pranam. So, tomorrow is Radhastami. So, Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji. Welcome, Hare Krishna, Priyanka Mataji, Lalita Mataji. Hare Krishna, everybody. So, we will, so tomorrow is Radhastami. This is Radharani's appearance day. Just like Krishna came on Janmashtami, Radharani comes on Radhastami. So we will just sing one of the songs glorifying Radharani. And Nirbhay Prabhu will sing. Go ahead, Nirbhay Prabhu.
I thought you were going to do the other one. Anyways.
Oh, you want me to do the other one?
Whichever. Okay. We can do both.
Okay.
Radhastami.
If we have time, we'll do at the end the other one.
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Radhe
Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna
Jai Krishna Jai
Krishna
Jai
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Rama Gauri Nitya Kishori Pritam Jori Shri Radhe
Shama Gauri Devi Kishori
Rasika Rasilo Chaila Chabilo Gunagarbilo Shri Krishna
Rasilo Chaliya Chabilo Gunagarabilo Shri Krishna
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe
Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe
Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna
Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna
रास विहारिणी रास बिसातरणी पिया उरधारिणी श्री राधे
रास विहारिणी रास विस्तारिणी पिया उर्धारिणी श्री राधे
नव नव रंगी नवल त्रिभंगी श्याम सुअंगी श्री कृष्ण
नव नव रंगी नवल त्रिभंगी श्याम सुअंगी श्री कृष्ण
जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय राधे श्री जय राधे
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा जय श्री कृष्णा
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा श्री जय कृष्णा
कान पियारी रूप जियारी अति सुखवारी श्री राधे
कान पियारी रूप उजयारी अति सुखवारी श्री राधे
मैन मनोहर महमुदकारा सुंदर बारतर श्री कृष्णा
मैन मनोहर महमूद सुंदर बरातर श्री कृष्णा
शोभा सैनी मोभा मैनी कोकिला बयनी श्री राधे
शोभासैनी शोभामैनी कोकिलमैनी श्री राधे
कीर्तिवन्ता कामिनी कांता श्री भगवंता श्री कृष्णा
कीर्तिवन्ता कामिनी कांता श्री भगवंता श्री कृष्णा
श्री राधे जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
श्री राधे जय राधे राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा जय श्री कृष्णा
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा श्री जय कृष्णा
चंद बदनी कुंदारदनी शोभा सदनी श्री राधे
चंदा बदनी कुंदारदनी शोभा सदनी श्री राधे
परम उदारा प्रभा पारा अति सुखवारा श्री कृष्णा
परम उदारा सुकुमारा श्री कृष्णा
कंसा गवनी रजती रवनी कृद कवनी श्री राधे
हंसा कवनी रजती रवनी कृदा कवनी श्री राधे
रूप रसाला नयन विशाला परम कृपाला श्री कृष्णा
रूप रसाला नयन विशाला परम कृपाला श्री कृष्णा
जय कृष्ण जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय राधे
जय कृष्णा जय कृष्णा जय श्री कृष्णा
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा श्री जय कृष्णा
कंचन बेली रति रसरेली अति अलबेली श्री राधे
कंचन बेली अति रस बेली अति बेली श्री राधे
सब सुख सागर सब गुण आगर रूप उजागर श्री कृष्णा
सब सुख सागर सब गुण आगर रूप उजागर श्री कृष्णा
राम निरमया तर तर तम्या गुण आगम्या श्री राधे
रावणी रम्या तर तर तम्या गुणागम्या श्री राधे
धाम निवासी प्रभा प्रकाशी सहज सुहासी श्री कृष्णा
धाम निवासी प्रभा प्रकाशी सहज सुहासी श्री कृष्णा
जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
जय राधे 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 जय राधे श्री जय राधे
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा जय श्री कृष्णा
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा
राविनी रमया सखयत कालिनी अति प्रिय वादिनी उर्मन उन्मादिनी श्री राधे
Sakhiya Adini Ati Priyavadini Ura Unamadini Sri Radhe.
Angangatona Sarasalona Shubhanga Sutana Shri Krishna.
Anga Sona Sarasa Salona Subhaga Satvona Sri Krishna.
Radha Namini Guna Abhiramini Hari Priya Samini Shri Radhe.
Radha Namini Guna Abhiramini Hari Priya Samini Sri Radhe.
Hare Hare Hari Hare Hare Hari Hare Hare Hari Shri Krishna.
Hare Hare Hari Hare Hare Hari Hare Hare Hari Shri Krishna.
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna.
Shri Bol.
Hari Bol.
Jai.
Radharani ki jai.
Jai Shri Radhastami Mahamahotsav ki Jai.
Jai. Very cool. Would anyone like to share anything about Radharani? What do they understand? Who is she? Anybody? What is understanding?
Mataji, I want to check my understanding is correct or not. So it's basically the validation. I don't know.
Sure.
So I told Leela Prabhuji once. So he was talking about Radharani. So it's like कि जो मन होता है कृष्णा का वही राधारानी है. Is that correct understanding, Mataji? Like internal potency जो बोलते हैं तो इसको कैसे like is it the मन of Krishna जो एक होता है ना कि मेरा ऐसा चित्त है मन है.
So Mataji, there are two ways to understand Radharani, right? Or anybody for that matter, like for us or Shivji or Krishna or Balram, right? We discussed about Lord Balram last time, right? So there is Tattva. I'm sorry, I'm just going to close this real quick. So yes, Mataji. So there is like tattva, right? The substance, the what is or who is Radharani. Like for example, we are jivas, huh? We are the spirit soul, right? That's our tattva. We are spiritual. We are part and parcel of Krishna, right? But then there is a rasa. Then there is a mellows or emotions or relationship that somebody shares with Krishna, right? So that is the rasa gyan. So, like for example, we say Balramji is the first expansion from Krishna. He is completely same as Krishna except for mood and complexion, right? That is his tattva, that is his substance. But then his relationship or his rasa with him is that he exchanges relationship with him in 5 rasas, right? So similarly with Radharani also we can understand her in 2 parts. What you are describing so basically, the way it is described is that Krishna is the energetic or Shaktiman, and Radharani is the Shakti or the energy, right? You cannot separate the two, they cannot be separated, right? So, for example, how can they not be separated? Huh? For example, you have energy in your muscle. Can you put it on the table and say, okay, this is my energy lying here, this is my muscular energy here? It's inherent to the muscle, it cannot be separated. Wherever the muscle go, the energy will go there, right? Fire has heat to it or tap to it, right? Fire, heat cannot be separated from fire. If there is fire, it has to be hot, right? If there is sugar, sweetness cannot be separated from it. If there is sugar, it has to be sweet, otherwise it is not sugar. So they are inseparable. They are one and the same. So they are, let me show you one of the nice verses. So they are one and the same. There is no difference. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. राधा कृष्णा एक आत्मा दुई देहा धरी अने उने विलासे रास असवादा न करी. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies, thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. So if Krishna has to enjoy this Madhurya Ras, this relationship, that energy separates from the energetics, not separate in any material way that we understand that they're separate, but basically if you have to have a relationship, you have to have two people, right? You cannot have just one person having a relationship. The relationship is always between two people. So for that relationship purpose and for us to engage in the service and in the relationship and in beautiful pastimes, they separate as energy and energetic. They separate as Radha and Krishna, right? But they're same. So isliye Krishna is Radharani is also Bhagwan, right? She's also Bhagwanta. She's part and parcel of Krishna. She is inseparable from Krishna. We have separated from Krishna, right? But she is not separable from Krishna. So what you are mentioning is also right, that she's basically the um, internal potency is for us, right? We say Krishna has many energies with which he maintains, right? So internal potency, marginal potency, external potency, or inferior energy, external energy, those are the energies of various energies of Krishna. So Yog Maya is one of the expansions from Radharani, just like some everything else. Lakshmi ji is expansion from Radharani, Rukmani is expansion from Radharani, all the goddesses, Durga Devi, who's Mahamaya, is also expansion from Radharani, right? So with various energies, Krishna is maintaining, and one of them is internal potency, which we loosely call Radharani or Yog Maya. But actually, everything is coming from Radharani. All these energies are coming from Radharani. And Radharani's gives, and it's a very, very deep, very, very difficult to understand Radharani, because actually there is no difference. And our problem is that we try to understand in a very mundane way of, boy and girl kind of concept, which is very, very superficial, mundane understanding, which is not applicable to Radharani or Krishna, because they're not boy and girl, male or female is only possible in material body, right? It is not possible for spiritual, because spirit soul does not have any gender, right? We don't have, like, actually we don't have a gender. We only accept a gender when we have a particular body, so we change our gender based on the body that we get. But that is not applicable to Radharani or Krishna. They're spiritual, right? So that gender, in the sense that we understand, is not the kind of relationship they have. So
Yes, Mataji.
that's just, Mataji, very, very, if you see, in Bhagavad Gita or even in Bhagavatam, Radharani is not mentioned very much, because for us it is very, very difficult to understand her tattva, her substance. And even rasa, we very difficult to understand, because we apply our own framework of understanding of boy, girl, kind of very, very nonsense understanding on Radha and Krishna, which is not how it is. So
Yes, Mataji. I think Oglila Prabhuji was also answering one of the question, which is very common, that why Radha Krishna did not get married. So it's for the same reason कि they are one. तो शादी तो दो लोगों में होती है, तो दो तो थे नहीं, तो फिर शादी कैसे होती? They were just one. So I just remember the bits and pieces from that video, Mataji. I watched long back, so I don't.
I shared one, Mataji, in the group. That is a very funny, funny way in which Prabhuji has explained. You can watch that. Prabhuji explains all this. Why? If this is a common question, right? Why they don't get married? But remember that Krishna has come to perform this very elaborate, very complex. Has enacted this complex drama for our benefit, right? So there are all kinds of emotions being displayed in that drama, in that pastime, right? There is Vipralamba Bhav, where there is mood of separation, like between gopis or between Radharani and Krishna, right? That is considered to be the highest mood, actually, the Vipralamba Bhav, the mood of separation, right? There is Sakhya Ras with Arjun and with Gopas, and with Gopas it is pure Sakhya Ras. With Arjun it's Sakhya Ras mixed with some Aishwarya, right? Like we are reading this 11th chapter, we see that when Krishna shows his Vishwaroop, Arjun is suddenly, he starts apologizing to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, I was calling you. I was calling you my friend. I was hitting you when you were driving my chariot, right? He has to hit the charioteer so that charioteer can go in a particular direction. Or I'm teasing you. Not that I'm having fun with you, but I'm making fun of you, right? It is different when we have fun with friends or when we are making fun of somebody. I'm always making fun of you with my brothers. So, so many things I did, and I didn't realize that you are the supreme personality of Godhead. So there is Aishwarya mixed in his friendship, right? There is this mood of reverence, awe mixed in it. But with Gopas, even though Krishna is doing all these pastimes, he's showing, he's killing all these big demons, and Gopas are not. They never bow down to him. They never say, "Oh Krishna, you are the God," and "Oh, we are teasing you, we are playing with you, we are kicking you." All this, they don't say that, right? Even though they see him kill all these demons and whatnot. So Gopas are pure Sakyaras. So to display various types of, and then Veeras with Bhishma Pitama. So that is why Krishna is a Poon Purushottam Bhagwan. He displays all kinds of relationships and different kind of moods and different kind of loving exchanges with various types of devotees, right? So the reason they are separate is because they are showing so many other leelas that Krishna has to participate in. That mood of separation is one of the highest ones that Vrindavan Vasis experience. But we know that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, right? And actually also about why they never got married. Actually, they did get married. And you know who was the priest? Who knows who was the priest when Radharani and Krishna got married? Okay, Nirbhay Prabhu knows. Yes. Yeah, Lord Brahma came and got them married. And do you know who's the husband of Radharani? What is his name? Anybody knows? We're just talking about Radharani just to improve our understanding. It's never going to be complete understanding. It'll be foolish to think that we will understand Radharani completely ever. Even Krishna does not understand Radharani, right? We know that, right? Okay, but going back to the question, what is the name of Radharani's husband? Just for the sake of pastime, what was?
I don't remember.
Abhimanyu. Not the Abhimanyu that is Subhadra's son, a different Abhimanyu. But that Abhimanyu is also expansion from Krishna only. So so many things there are, but even Krishna says that I do not understand Radharani, and that's why to understand her mood, he comes as. Who does he come as to understand Radharani?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, he comes as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So that is, so then he takes, Radharani says, you want to understand my mood, you want to understand the love that I have for you, you will not be able to hold that love. You will not be, you will faint, you will not, you're not capable. So this is the, we say he's Poon Purushottam, but this is the deficiency in Krishna. Like you have heard from Amog Leela Prabhu, he says, the completeness of Krishna is that he is incomplete in this fact that he does not understand Radharani's love. So Radharani says, I'll give you my molten gold complexion, Tapta Kanchan complexion. So when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will have this complexion, the golden complexion that will protect you. Otherwise, your body, you will not be able to take the immense love that I have for you. When Radharani cries in separation from Krishna, it makes rivers. Right? We cannot even cry for somebody and collect a spoonful of tears. But when Radharani cries, it collects rivers. That's how much love she has. So he cannot understand, even Krishna cannot understand her or her love for her. And that is one of the reasons. There are many reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, but one of the reasons is to understand the mood, the love, the devotion of Radharani. And Radharani is one of those who's at the same time Bhagwan and devotee both. Similar as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So when we say, oh, whose devotion is highest? And there is this beautiful story that Amrendra Prabhu often tells about. It's a long story, so I won't go into it, maybe another time. But ultimately, the end is that the Radharani's devotion is highest. So, but then somebody say, oh, but you were saying Radharani and Krishna are same, so she's also Bhagwan. So why are you saying she's a devotee? Because that is when she acts, when she has a relationship with Krishna, that is her mood of devotion, of love. So whenever we do anything for Krishna, it goes through Radharani, right? When we make prasadam, Radharani makes sure that that prasadam has been cooked in the right mood, right consciousness, with the with proper things that Krishna likes before it goes to Krishna. So it's so we'll give it to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada through the line of disciplic succession will go to Radharani. So it doesn't go to Krishna unless Radharani proves it. So that's why we sometimes say, oh, why can't we use this ingredient or that ingredient? Because you're cooking for Krishna. It's like you're cooking for your loved one. You won't cook those things that he does not like, right? You won't make them eat things that he does not like to eat. So why would you make Krishna eat stuff that he does not like? So Radharani will not let him eat those things. He does not like them. So try to treat our kitchen as Radharani's kitchen. She gives Krishna every day something different to eat. She never repeats a recipe. Do you know that? Does anybody know who gave her that boon? That again, just for the sake of pastime, who gave her that boon? Navya knows. Okay.
Vasamani.
Yeah, Durvasa Muni gave her the boon that she will never repeat a dish again. She cooks different recipes every day. Okay, anybody, please share. Anybody has any other points they want to share, thoughts?
I was just thinking about when you're talking about the Vivaha, then I was thinking about the Brahma Vimohini Leela, how it is said that, at the time of Brahma Vimohini Leela, does everyone know the Brahma Vimohini Leela? Right? Okay, so that is when the Lord Brahma took away all the gopas to see whether Krishna is the Supreme Personality or not. And what did Krishna do? He expanded himself as all the other gopas. So all the other gopas were basically Krishna's expansions at that time. So everybody was feeling, this was again Krishna's pastime, which means this was a special way Krishna had to was able to reciprocate the love that all the gopis had, and have him, who all wanted him as a in Vatsalya Bhav, as their son, so they all could see have Krishna as their son, as their gopas. So he expanded himself as those gopas, and said that that is one of the times when actually all the different gopis who participate in Ras, they got all married to the different gopas, which was basically Krishna himself. So that is another thing that is described. And Natasha has actually already said that how the Radharani and Krishna had Gandharva Vivaha when Lord Brahma himself was the priest, the highest priest possible was Lord Brahma was there. So Radharani is very, very merciful, and as Prashadam was being talked about, like if our Prashadam is not to the level to reach Krishna, so Radharani actually makes it more palatable, more makes it, dresses it up, sets it up in such a way that Krishna would accept our offering, our Prashadam. So, and we are actually being Rupanugas and being in this disciplic succession of, learning from the ISKCON, we are actually in the mood of, we follow Radharani. We actually are not, our Isht Dev is actually not, frankly, Krishna, it's said. Our Isht Dev is Radharani. We are followers of Radharani. So Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, right? She is the one um, who is the queen of Vrindavan, Vrindavaneshwari. And if we get Radharani, then Krishna will come himself, right? That's a famous thing. When you go to Vrindavan, nobody says Krishna, Krishna, right? Everybody is talking Radhe, Radhe, right? And it said Radhe, Radhe, Shyam Radhe, because the person who has something, only he can give you something. Somebody who has money, only that person can give you money. A beggar can't give you money. So who has Krishna? Radharani has Krishna. So Radharani has complete authority over Krishna. So she is the one who can give us Krishna. Question is, why did Radharani or Krishna marry other people when they were married to each other? Hari bol. So Priyanka Mataji is having a question. Very nice question, very common question, and it's a good question, and it comes to our mind always. But so this is Mataji. This is actually the way it is. It's Krishna's pastimes, right? So he can do what he wants, and it is the love, the Parkiya Bhav, is the highest form of mellow of love, it is explained. So these parts are explained in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. And it is actually described that we should read the nine. The reason it is in the 10th canto is that we should first explain in nine cantos, learn about Krishna, so that we can understand this highest bhav of love and the relation of Sri Krishna and Radharani, right? So Parakya Bhav means when you're in love, or it says, so again, everything in the spiritual world cannot be taken as such in the material world. This material world in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, or the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is described how this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, which means, like, how there's a tree and then you have the reflection of the tree in the water. So this is like the reflection of the tree, this is not the real thing. So if you try to get a fruit from the water, the reflection in water, you can't get it, it is not real, right? The real thing is something different, and it is not the same as what the reflection is. So similarly, we cannot directly apply the concepts of this material world to the spiritual world, right? That is the real world. That is the bhavas, the love, everything is transcendental. It is difficult to understand, and that is why it is in the 10th canto, and we have nine cantos before it that we need to understand, and to get to the point when we can understand this the 10th canto very well. But still, because we are discussing it, I'll mention it. We may not understand it completely. I do not understand it completely because I haven't read the nine cantos completely, right? So but the way the senior devotees explain it is that the highest mellow of love is the parkiya bhav, which is, how you say that the forbidden apple is sweeter. So something like that, you can think about it, that there is more rasa when Radharani is, has to say lies to her family to meet Krishna. So she has to do extra things to meet Krishna, get to meet Krishna. So that is that her husband is also nobody else but Krishna himself, right? We just discussed, Natasha said that Abhimanyu is nobody else but an expansion of Krishna, right? Actually, when we were talking about male female, the other thought that was coming to my mind is the only Purusha, the Adi Purusha is Krishna. Everything else, everybody else is actually female in Tattva. So again, like we were talking about Tattva, so the only Purusha is Shri Krishna, and there is no other Purush in this world, universe, or multiple universes actually. So he's the only Adi Purusha. So everything else is Prakriti. On, he's the only. So Purusha, by its meaning, means enjoyer. So he's the only enjoyer, and everything else is to be enjoyed by the enjoyer, right? And it is all his expansions. He is the one. He is the original Adi Purusha. In Brahma Samhita, it is explained that uh, he's the original Adi Purusha. So before everything was there, before anything and everything was there, there is Krishna, and from him everything is getting expanded. So really, everything that is there is actually to be enjoyed by Krishna. Everyone is to be enjoyed by Krishna. All the jivas are to be enjoyed by Krishna. So actually, one time, somebody came to Prabhupada and said about my something about my wife, or he was trying to understand this and said, but Prabhupada, my wife is how can I say that she needs to be completely devoted to Krishna or something like this, right?
He
She's
said, how come Krishna has so many wives and why are we allowed to only have one wife?
one wife, yes. So
So
Prabhupada said, actually, you are stealing, you have stolen from Krishna.
Prabhupada got upset. He's like, you rascal. You have one wife? How dare you? Huh? You're stealing? He said, what do you mean, Prabhupada? She's my wife. I didn't steal. No, you're stealing. He said, what do you mean, Prabhupada? You're a rascal. He said, I just have one wife. So he said, yes, but she also belongs to Krishna. You stole from him. So everything belongs to Krishna.
Everything and everybody really belongs to Krishna, and and the way that we have to understand is that we are just taking care. We are just like kind of caretakers, and we should be completely submitted to Krishna, and everybody in our family should be completely submitted to Krishna, and that is the perfection. So again, coming to the a point of, so again there are many layers of understanding. Like Krishna never, we say Krishna, that's written in the scriptures, that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, right? But then you see that he's in Dwarka. We see that he's doing different pastimes in different places. But at the same time, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So it is, so there is one Krishna that is in the spiritual world with Radharani all the time in Golok Vrindavan, and he's doing his transcendental pastimes in Golok Vrindavan. But then in there, in that rasa, when he is doing the transcendental pastimes, to even further increase the mellow of that love, there are pastimes that Srimati Radharani is married to somebody else and she has to come out to meet Krishna because she's completely submitted to Krishna. So that is just a way the pastimes are there for the pleasure of the Supreme. So I don't know if I completely answered your question or not, Mataji. It's a little confusing, but I just shared some of the thoughts I had on the point.
Thank you, Nirvana Prabhu, for sharing. Okay, I wanted to read this very quick if possible. Um, just to, it's 2 pages. You can read 1 or 2 paragraphs each. So I'll just read this. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, this shloka. देवी कृष्णमयी प्रोक्ता राधिका परदेवता सर्वलक्ष्मीमयी सर्वा कंठी सम्मोहिनी परा. Even Sri Krishna is unable to fully describe the qualities of Srimati Radhika. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like Mataji said, she is the internal potency, right? And direct counterpart of Lord, central figure for all Lakshmis. And remember, there is not just one Lakshmi, right? On each universe, there is a Mahavishnu, and so there is a Lakshmi for each. She possesses all the attractiveness. So she attracts. So Krishna, we say Krishna means all attractive, right? Full of all opulence is all attractive. He's called Madan Mohan, right? Because Madan is Cupid. He can, or Kamdev, and he can moho or attract the Madan also. So he's called Madan Mohan. And Radharani is called Madan Mohan Mohini, the one who can attract the person who attracts Cupid or Kamdev, right? So Kamdev puts everybody in illusion. He's supposed to be really, really beautiful, very, very attractive, but he gets attracted by Krishna, and Krishna gets attracted by Radharani. So so Radharani's beauty is her intelligence, her beauty, her devotion, her mercy, her everything is way beyond and above Krishna. It's like in a household, like if you want to have mundane comparisons in a household, typically mother is more merciful than father, right? So similarly, she is more merciful. She can, if that's why, like Nirbhay Prabhu said, if you can get to Radharani, then Krishna will not be too far behind because she can approach Krishna. Would somebody like to read this? We'll just read very, very quick. Yes, Avni, want to read? Go ahead, Avni, and then you're on mute, I think.
Srimati Radhika is the goddess of all goddesses. The word Krishna Mai is the above mentioned verse means that all of her bodily limbs are composed of Mahabhava. the highest ecstatic love for Krishna. She annoys herself with the sneha or affection of Krishna and also with the affection of Lalita, Vishaka, and her other Sakhis. Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami explains in his poetry how she takes her bath. He writes in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.162 through 167. Do I continue?
I think Anita Mataji wants to read. Mataji want to take read.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. The body of Srimati Radharani is a veritable transformation of love of Godhead. She is the dearmost friend of Krishna, and this is known throughout the world. That supreme ecstasy of Srimati Radharani is the essence of spiritual life. Her only business is to fulfill all the desires of Krishna. Srimati Radharani is the topmost spiritual gem, and the other gopis, Lalita, Vishakha, and so on, are expansions of her spiritual body. Srimati Radharani's transcendental body is brilliant in luster and full of all transcendental fragrances. Lord Krishna's affection for her is like a perfumed message. Srimati Radharani takes her first bath in the shower of the nectar of compassion, Karunya Amrita, and she takes her second bath in the nectar of youth, Tarunya Amrita. After her midday bath, Radharani takes another bath in the nectar of bodily luster, Lavanya Amrita. She puts on the garment of shyness, which is her black silk sari. Hare Krishna.
Navya wants to read. Go ahead.
Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Worshipful Lord Deva. He is not a demigod. He is the master of all demigods. At the same time, his worshipful goddess Para Devata is Sri Radha in Radha Kunda, especially when she is in
Man.
He takes bath in Radha 3 times in deep meditation. He chants Radhe Radhe, and she becomes pleased.
Okay, this next paragraph is explaining that pastime of Jayadev Goswami. I think many of you are familiar with it. We've seen a play of Amoglila Prabhupada. Anyone remembers when he wrote this verse and Krishna came to fix it? Okay. Who wants to read next? Go ahead, baby.
Hare Krishna. Once as Sri Jayadev Goswami was composing the verses of his Sri Gita Govinda, a pastime appeared in his heart in which Srimati Radhika entered her sulky mood, man. He saw in his meditation that all of Krishna's repeated attempts failed to remove her man. Then the mood entered his heart in which he understood that in order to pacify Srimati Radhika, Sri Krishna placed his head at her lotus feet. This filled Sri Jayadev with fear. He could not bring himself to ride it. He thought Sri Krishna is everyone's worshipful Supreme Lord and he possesses all potencies. Srimati Radhika is his potency and maidservant. How is it possible for Sri Krishna to put his head at Radhika's feet, lotus feet? That would transgress the principles of religion. His hand trembled and lost the grip of his pen. He could write no more, so he went to bathe in the Ganga. Meanwhile, Sri Krishna, the topmost relisher of transcendental mellows, assumed the form of Sri Jayadev and went to his house. In the form of Jayadev, Krishna asked Padmavati to bring him the manuscript. He then personally completed the verse Smara Garal Khandanam, the deadly poison of amorous love that Jayadev had begun to write. He added, Mam Sirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Palavam Udaram is counteracted by decorating my head with your flower-like feet.
I can read this, Medhi. Smaran Garal Khandanam Mamshirasi Mandanam Dehi Padapallavam Udaram. The beautiful flower blossoms of your feet counteract the deadly poison of amorous love. They extinguish the terrifying fire of the pain of that love which rages within my heart. Therefore, please be kind and allow your feet to decorate my head. Sri Krishna, the story continues. Um, uh, Go ahead, Vedi, read this also.
Sri Krishna then left the house, and a short time later Jayadev returned. Surprised, his wife asked, "How are you able to come back so quickly? Just a short while ago you returned, wrote something in your book, and again went out to take back." Jayadev Goswami asked for his manuscript, and upon opening it, he saw that his unfinished verse was now complete. Filled with wonder and weeping, he told his wife, "O Devi, you are blessed. You had the darshan of Sri Shyam Sundar Krishna, who personally came here and completed the verse I was afraid to write. Krishna is brought under control by prema, not by devotion based on rules and regulations. We cannot imagine the glories of Radharani. She is Sarva Lakshmi, the sum total of all Lakshmis or goddesses of fortune.
Anantakoti Vishnuloka Namra Padmacharchite Himadraja Pulomaja Virinchaja Varaprade Apar Siddhi Riddhi Digda Satpadanguli Nakhe Kadat Karishyai Shamam Kripa Kataksh Bhajanam. So this is from Radha Kripa Kataksh Stav. And this is said by Shivji to Parvati ji, to Mother Parvati. What is he saying? Makheshwari, Kriyeshwari, Swadeshwari, Sureshwari, Trived Bharatishwari, Praman Sasaneshwari, Rameshwari, Kshameshwari, Pramod Kaneneshwari, Brajeshwari, Brajadhipe, Sri Radhike Namostute. You are worshipped by Sri Lakshmi, the goddess of unlimited millions of Vaikuntha planets, Sri Parvati, Indra's wife, and Saraswati. All worship and attain benediction from you. Meditation on even one of your toenail grants Padanguli Nakhe. So by meditating even on one of your toenail grants an infinite variety of perfections. O Srimati Radhike, when will you bestow upon me your merciful sidelong glance? This is from Sri Radha Kripa Kataksh Stav. I think we are coming to an end. Somebody would like to read this paragraph? Vinita, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. You are the mistress of all kinds of sacrifices, especially the topmost Yugala Milana Yagna of all actions, since you are the root of all potencies, Mula Sakti Tattva, of the mantras uttered at yagyas and of the sacrificial offerings presented to the demigods of all the demigods, of the words of the three Vedas, of the enforcement of all scriptural principles, of Sri Ram Devi, the goddess of Rama Devi, the goddess of fortune, and Sri Shama Devi, the goddess of forgiveness, and especially of the delightful Kunjas in Vrindavan. When will you mercifully take me to your dasi and grant me the qualification to render service in your amorous pastimes with the Prince of Braja? O Srimati Radhika, owner and maintainer of Braja, I offer pranam to you time and again.
This was verse 12. Okay. Go ahead, Vinita, you want to finish off?
Brahma and Sankara cannot attain the darshan of her lotus feet, and even Krishna has worshipped her feet. She is Sarva Lakshmi, the embodiment of all goddesses of fortune, and Sarva Kanti, the only one who fulfills all the transcendental desires of Sri Krishna. Unlike others like Chandravali, Lalita, and Vishakha can somewhat fulfill his desires, but not all of them. Krishna thinks if Radhika is not participating in the Rasa Leela, then what is the use of it? He broke the pride of other gopis and left to find Sri Radha. Thus, she is Paradevta, the supreme worshipful deity.
Go ahead.
The glories of Radhika are innumerable. Now the Vaishnavas in this assembly will glorify her. She will not be as much pleased with the Abhisheka bathing ceremony as she is with the chanting of her glories.
Be bold. Okay. So there is a lot, but I just wanted everyone to understand and try to break free from that mundane concept of Radha and Krishna that we get from like TV serials and from movies and all, and people make all these Bollywood movies and everybody's called Radha, the girlfriend is called Radha and boyfriend is called Krishna. I wanted to break out of that concept to understand that we are, like Nirbhay Prabhu said, we are worshippers of Radharani, right? So there are Vaishnavas, there are worshippers of Krishna or Karshnas, and then there are those who are worshippers of Radharani. They're called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So that's who we are. We are following in the tradition of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is basically Krishna in the mood of Radharani. So the Radharani is the, I mean, yes, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but you cannot get to Krishna without Radharani. His energetic is not anything without the energy. So she's the energy, she's the Shakti of the Shaktiman, right? So many things more can be said, but I think we'll try to read just a few verses of our 11th chapter. Is that okay, or would anyone else like to share or ask anything? Okay, all right. Well, we actually never did Manglacharan today.